welcome back to Toronto Daily. On today's segment, we will be diving into the realities of mental health and uncovering the truth about living with schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a complex and often misunderstood mental disorder. We welcome John Nash today, a brilliant mathematician whose life was both shocked by intelligence and mental illness.
John, thank you for joining us. Let's begin by diving into your early life. You were recognized early on as a prodigy mathematician, but when was it you noticed something might be wrong?
Well, it was around my early 30s, and at the time I was working at Princeton University. I began to hear very strange voices and experienced very realistic hallucinations. I couldn't separate myself from reality to see what was being created by my mind.
John Nash was born in 1928 in Bluefield, West Virginia, and by his 30s, he was already recognized for his groundbreaking contributions to Princeton and MIT. John Nash is a world-renowned mathematician whose game theory revolutionized economics and strategic thinking. Schizophrenia is a chronic brain disorder that affects how a person behaves, thinks, and processes the world around them. The common symptoms can be hallucinations, delusions, disorganized thinking, and difficulty expressing oneself. Schizophrenia has many misconceptions that deter from its actual meaning. It affects approximately 1 in 100 people and doesn't make you a violent or dangerous person. John Nash is here today to help viewers understand the reality of living with this life-changing disorder.
When you were diagnosed, how did it affect your life, both professionally and personally?
My life was drastically changed after the diagnosis. I underwent many hospital stays and was even hospitalized for periods of time. The medication obviously helped, but the side effects were very hard to live with. Ultimately, the disorder changed my life, but it didn't destroy it. Over time, I was able to conquer my schizophrenia and return to my work.
John Nash's story isn't just one of struggle, it's one of resilience. Despite living with schizophrenia, he was able to continue his research and earn himself a Nobel Prize in economics in 1994. His life inspired the Academy Award-winning film, A Beautiful Mind.
John, your story is incredible and inspiring. I want to know more about what made the switch for you in terms of conquering your disorder and becoming immensely successful. Your story's success has continued to inspire those struggling with mental illness even to this day.
Much appreciated. I stopped taking my medication at a certain point because I believed it was hindering my intellectual abilities. It is quite rare, but I started to experience a remission with my symptoms. I began to experiment with self-designed cognitive behavioral techniques to help with my symptoms. I believe studying the Bible and analyzing number systems also helped me with my recovery.
Wow, can you elaborate on your self-designed cognitive behavioral techniques for myself and the viewers to better understand your strategies?
Of course. I kind of did it as a do-it-yourself cognitive behavioral therapy. I will ask myself if certain thoughts make sense logically, and I would analyze them to see if they had any evidence or reason or rhyme. I like to interrogate my illusions to see what is reality and what is not, and this helps me focus on my studies and eventually led to my success and recovery.
What would you want people to understand about schizophrenia?
Ooh, a lot, but mostly that you can still accomplish great things in your life despite the disease. It is definitely a limitation and it does have massive impacts on my life, but yes, people who are diagnosed with schizophrenia can still live important, normal, meaningful lives.
Definitely. Thank you for watching, and thank you, John Nash, for sharing your experiences. Schizophrenia is not the end of the story, it's just a part of it. Listening to stories like these are the first steps to breaking the stereotypes and helping people around the world conquer their mental illnesses. Now, I must ask, do you believe there's a cure for schizophrenia?
I do not. I believe there is a process in recovery, but there's no one single cure. I believe that it's different for everyone. It's important to take into account as well that this process took me many years to accomplish, and everyone may have a different experience.
Thank you again. Moving on, in our program today, we'll be discussing the weather storms in Toronto over the following week.